Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video, and this is a paid request from Marv B. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting any type of videos, movie reviews, re-reviews, random thoughts, streams, commentaries, video game playthrough for an hour or full playthrough, tier list, ranking, whatever the case may be, re-review of whatever. PayPal's the best way to do it. Do have a Cash App as well. Links are down below in the info box, and I will get to it as soon as I possibly can. For those who sent them, thank you. I do appreciate it. So this is for, well, it's under a couple titles. There's Demon Island, but I like the title Piñata Survival Island because it's about a killer piñata, so why not? But it came out in 2002, and it stars Jaime Pressly, which I guess she was in one of the Poison Ivy sequels. No, nothing to do with the comic book character. There was a Poison Ivy with Drew Barrymore, and then there were sequels. One of them had Jaime Pressly in it. I remember her. She was in Joe Dirt. She was in the film Torque. She was also in this film called DOA, Dead or Alive, which I didn't hate it for what it is. Scantily clad women, bouncing up and down, fighting, hard for me to get mad at a movie like that. Not great though, but I've seen much worse. But yeah, Jaime Pressly, and also Nicholas Brendon, most famous for playing the character Xander in Buffy the Vampire Slayer TV show. And on a side note, I looked up some info about that guy, Nicholas Brendon, because I remember liking him on that Buffy show. He did fine here. Man, that guy has been through... I mean, that guy... seems like a really shitty guy, but then he's been through some stuff as well. On one hand, it seems like he's multiple times have gotten arrested for spousal abuse with various different girlfriends. Then on the flip side, there was something about an accident or something happened. He has a lot of alcoholism problems. Very much an alcoholic, and there was a point he needed spinal surgery, and then something happened, and didn't seem like he was in the best of shape. So I don't know if you want to call that as karma, or I don't know. It's just pretty topsy-turvy thing with that guy, which I won't get into. It'll take me 20 minutes just to go through all that. But, didn't mind him as an actor. But that's probably why you don't really see much of him anymore. And the directors of this is two guys, and they directed Team Cobra before this. Which I think Pat Morita was in it for a little bit. And Dorm Days, one of those National Lampoon direct-to-video films, which I wasn't a fan of. And they might have done Dorm Days too. Which that stuff killed National Lampoon, because I remember National Lampoon, Vacation with Chevy Chase, and Christmas Vacation, National Lampoon's Loaded Weapon 1, which was fun. Even National Lampoon's Senior Trip. Let's do some bad damage. But when you got those direct-to-video shit where it was fucking Dorm Days, all that crap, that killed that name and fucking buried it with National Lampoon. But anyway, that's just me. So they made this film, comes out in 2002. And for what it is, I had some fun with it. It's far from perfect. It's goofy. It's silly. But the premise is goofy enough that I had some fun. The monster, for the most part, is practical. It's kind of funny to laugh at, but I appreciate the practicality of it. There's a couple decent bits of gore and blood. And hell, the movie's an hour and 19 minutes. So it wasn't long at all. So is this a film I would pick up on home video of any sort? Oh my god, is there a Blu-ray of Piñata? No. But if you like those B type of movies and you want a bit of a chuckle and a laugh and easy enough way to kill 80 minutes, you do a lot worse, especially around the Halloween season. Deal with some buddies, have some fun, drink some cold ones, or you're like me and you drink some mellow yellow. This is one of those films that it was pretty easy to watch. Although, does it have flaws? Sure. But the premise is this tribe who was cursed with famine, disease, all sorts of stuff. They thought that they were cursed because they had evil in their hearts. So one guy takes quite a while to create this piñata. And the idea with this piñata is that there's a good and a bad thing they make with this, I shit you not, they say magically charged clay. Okay? And so when the day comes, they put their evil parts of themselves into the bad one, bad piñata. The whole tribe does. They send it off. And then apparently everything went fine with that tribe. Everything was good. And that piñata kind of slid into the ocean until we get to this current time, where you have college kids on an island. It's Cinco de Mayo, and there's going to be a scavenger hunt. So there's a group of teens, men and women. There's two judges, a man and a woman. And pretty much they're saying, to you kids, you college kids, we're going to pick a guy and a girl, we're going to handcuff you. And in the scavenger hunt, you have this amount of time to collect all this underwear around the island. You'll hear a pistol when time is done. Whoever collected the most underwear gets $20,000. I guess the idea is that $10,000 goes to charity and $10,000 goes to your wherever your college is or something. I'm like, what the fuck? Okay, if it goes to the college, what the fuck do they get? Do they get any piece of that money? Or maybe the idea is, hey, you got to come to an island and a resort place and, bit of a vacation. Whatever. I've never heard any colleges doing this. If you let me know, is there any colleges that sends people to a fucking island to handcuff with someone to go hunt for some underwear? If so, tell me what college that is. I'll go. I mean, hey, I may be old, but I would go to college for that. Tell me which colleges do that. I'll be on the phone the next morning. Now, most of the characters you don't know jack shit about. You don't. And you don't really get time, because I will say this movie goes at a pretty fast pace. On the one hand, it's not boring. On the flip side, you don't really have any development, so I don't really give a shit about anybody. The most you know is Nicholas Brendon and Jaime Pressly. They don't want to be handcuffed to each other because they used to be boyfriend-girlfriend. But I guess Nicholas Brendon, I'm just going to call him Xander. I know that's his character, but this is his character Buffy. So I'll call him Xander. Misinterpreted something Jaime did or didn't do, and then everything got fucked up. So they get handcuffed, they don't want to do anything together, but then he's like, Xander's like, fuck this, I want to do something. Come on, let's win this thing. I'll drag you. No, you won't. Okay. And I thought Nicholas Brendon and Jaime Pressly, they did fine for what the script had given them. This is not Kevin Williamson's Scream. This is not some clever, smartly written script that winks to the audience, and the lines of dialogue are going to be typical. Other than, there's one bit that I thought, I wouldn't call it clever, but I'll give credit to. There's a bit where when the characters get together after they know there's some killer, something out there, someone says, let's split up, and Nicholas Brendon goes, no, that's stupid. We're staying together. And then when they're on the trail, someone stays back to fuck with their shoe. They're ready to leave, and then Nicholas Brendon goes, "This is stupid. We're not splitting up." They walk back, and they wait for him, then they go with him. So I liked that, at least. It might not sound much, but there's not a lot of films that do that, so I'll give credit. But before we get to that, one guy and one girl who are cuffed, they find this piñata. They were told earlier that if you find a piñata, there may be booze and other stuff in there, so feel free to crack it open. They crack it, but they release some really... Well, you don't see them yet. But they crack it open, they look over some stuff, they turn around, the piñata's gone, and then the piñata becomes alive. It is a guy in a suit, for the most part. And will you think it's goofy and silly? Yes. But at the same time, I can have enjoyment and goofy fun with that. Because it's a guy in a suit, I don't mind the effects on the suit. As dumb as it is to make a piñata alive, I'm like, you know what, this actually doesn't look that bad. And there are times where the face will scrunch together, or move his eyes, or move its mouth, move its face. If they use CGI additions on the face, I think they hit it fairly well for this kind of budget. And effects-wise, I think they did what they could with the budget. Now, one of the problems is not just for the fact that it starts quickly enough that it's hard to care about anybody because you don't know who they are. This director, or directors, the two of them, they have a lot of, I don't know how to put it, too many flash cut techniques. More than likely, they go, listen, we know this looks silly, and we can't show it and have the camera stay there. So we have the camera flash, and then here, flash, 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 shaky. When it's running, there's like a blur effect. Not too blurry, but a little bit of a little blur effect. And flashy cuts and flashes. And they do that a lot. And then more than likely, because they want to cover up the practical man in the suit that they have. At the same time, I'm sitting there going, it's not like that's going to fucking solve anything. It's still a man in a suit. For the people that were going to laugh at that, they were going to laugh at it regardless. You should just played it out like it is, without all the flash, like they would do back in the day. If you see The Terror Within, if you see Watchers and Watchers 2, they didn't do fucking flashy and lights, or it's the creatures running and then there's like this blur. No, they shoot it like they would anything else. And yeah, you could look at it and go, okay, it's a man in the suit, and maybe it doesn't look the best, but again, I think it looks decent for what they're trying to do. It was always going to look good. This is a killer piñata. The idea of a killer piñata is going to be goofy no matter how the fuck you film it. You're never going to film it and make it look scary because it's a fucking killer piñata. Whether it be a killer sofa, which that movie exists, a killer bed, which there's a movie called Deathbed, a killer laundromat, the Mangler, killer, no matter what the fuck it is, it's going to look, Ginger Dead Man, all these things I'm saying exist, it's going to look goofy and silly no matter what. So just film it so it doesn't feel like you're having shit in your way and just annoying. I think the flash cuts were annoying. Too many of those techniques. If you're going to do it, a little goes a long way. There was just too many, and it just was distracting. That was more distracting than your practical effect. So I think that's one mistake they made. Also, again, give maybe some of the other side characters a little bit more to them, personality-wise, anything. They're just cannon fodder. And that's pretty much it for a chunk of the movie. It's just cannon fodder. Spoiler alert. The guy gets killed and gets his head bashed in. You even see a shot where the shovel's like going deeper into his head. And the girl escapes. The girl gets back to the two judges. They see the blood on her face. They go out to see what happened. Or maybe his got his head bashed in and the other person got their... If it wasn't that guy, one of the characters gets their head kind of cleaved with a shovel. If it wasn't him, it was the next person. The two judges find a body and it's been cut in half and the rib cage is showing a bit. Decent practical effect. One guy, you get the idea that the Piñata ripped bits of his crotch out. And you see all this blood and muck in his hand. One gets bashed in the leg, and you see a bit of a broken leg, and then bashed in the head after being bashed in the arm. So again, there's decent bits of gore. It's nothing like Terrify or anything, but there's little bits of blood here and there. Again, a lot of the cannon fodder get taken care of. I did nothing amazing in terms of makeup effects. There's not death scene they go, oh shit. Maybe they could have done more creative with the deaths. I mean, he's made of clay and stuff, and he has these hoofed feet. So I was waiting for a bit where maybe he took his hoof foot and smashed a head like a watermelon. Or he took a fist and punched a hole through someone. You know, more creative deaths of that nature I think could have helped. But I mean, there was still some blood. It wasn't like it was none of it. So a bunch of people you don't care about, you don't know their names, get killed. The two judges are on ATVs, and I find this funny. They're on ATVs, the two judges, and they see the Piñata and they're chased by it. So they're on ATVs going this way. The Piñata somehow is catching up to them. I don't know how. Maybe because of the blurry effect they're using. That's funny because later on Jaime Pressly is on foot and this thing can't catch her. So to keep up with two people that are driving ATVs, but can't catch Jaime Pressly, who's just running on her 2 feet. Which is it? Either it's fast enough to keep up with two ATVs, it's fast enough for that, or it's slow enough to not be able to catch Jaime Pressly, even after she falls one time and gets back up and starts running again. So he can't catch up to her, even when she fell, but he can catch up to two people with ATV. Okay. Again, spoilers. One girl flies off her ATV. The guy tries to help her, but he just dragged his leg and his arm, bashing the head and dead. So the lady tries to make a run for it, escapes, crawls away. She's found later. By this point, Nicholas Brendon and Jaime Pressly are back at camp with the girl who had the blood on her face. 2 other people join, and the 5 of them who are left decide to figure out what to do next. Should we stay? No, we should go, because if we stay here, no one's going to come for help. The girl with the blood on her face, I'm going to call Miss Steerdy Cat. She's just steered. Understandably steered in a situation like this, but that's her performance. Be steered. Be freaked down, steered. Miss Steerdy. She's like, we should stay. No, let's go. We all go or no one goes. So they all go. And again, I like that Nicholas Brendon is smart enough to go, let's not split up. Okay, you're fixing your shoe. No, fuck that. We'll stay here. Wait for it. But as they go, this Piñata guy, I guess he's also, he knows, he's also a hunter too. Because I guess somehow his heavy ass is in a tree. I don't know how his heavy ass, how do you get up there? It wasn't easy. Ocho Age Shen wasn't easy. He's able to be up on a tree or whatever, put a rope down and hang a guy, and make no noise so nobody notices. And even when the guy's like, he's up here, and nobody hears it, even when they're right under him. So then there were 4. Mysterio gets freaked out, goes back to camp. Another girl goes with her. Our 2 leads go the other way, so you know those 2 are going to live. And these 2 are going to die. And lo and behold, and this was funny, the Piñata swings like Tarzan, whee, and smacks the girl in the face, kills her. The one girl gets, Mysterio gets back to camp, just dragged away and killed in the tent, but you don't see anything. You just hear her death. And then, Nicholas Brendon finds the hurt female judge, and it's the 3 of them. Play a bit of cat and mouse, avoiding the Piñata, and then they decide it's time to stop hunting and be the hunter. And then they make traps. This definitely ain't no predator or anything, but they made some traps with some gasoline they got from one of the ATVs. They put a trap, they capture it in a net, they burn it, it breaks out. Nicholas Brendon, Xander does this swing. Whee! And the directors are loving slow-mo in this scene. Whee! Hits the thing. I love how when it hits the Piñata just rolls. Just right to off camera. You gotta knock the fuck down. So he saves his girlfriend. It comes after him, throws him around a bit, block him with the frying pan. Just hit a few times, but then Jaime Pressly, she makes a Molotov cocktail and I guess hooked it on the back of his head. I guess eventually him bombing around, I just created an explosion that blew him all the fuck up. I don't know why it blew him up. I would assume it would have cracked the glass and then he'd be on fire and it'd be like a stuntman on fire. But instead, I'm like, that's not how, I don't think do they know how Molotov cocktails work? Because if you hit someone, it's not like the whole body explodes. Thankfully in real life, I've never seen someone take a Molotov cocktail. I don't know. I've played video games. I know. I play video games where you throw Molotov cocktails at someone. Last of Us, other stuff. They'll go on fire, but they won't fucking explode. Unless somehow the whole inside of the fucking Piñata was made of alcohol, which I don't think that was the case. I don't know why he exploded. He would have caught on fire, but why did he explode? Again, that's not Molotov cocktail. I don't want to throw a Molotov cocktail. The bottle with the fire may explode, but then it'll catch the body on fire, but not make you explode. But it does here because they need an explosion. And then this crappy CG spirits escape. But then everything's fine. The cavalry arrives. They ask, we need to know what happened. The three kind of look, wondering how they're going to explain this. Cut the credits, the end. And I would give credit to that. I mean, they try to give like a big like flash steer. But I mean, no sequel bait ending. They follow, I think it was Roger Corman's rule, when the monster is dead, the movie's pretty much over. It's an hour and 19 minutes. Nicholas Brendon and Jaime Presley, they did fine for what they needed to do. I could deal with them. I've seen much, much worse. Is there a lot of in-depth to their character? No. Other than this flimsy relationship we know a little bit about and was through a misunderstanding. But I like the two. I don't mind the two as actors. I don't. I think that can help a lot with me in a movie. If you don't know shit about these two actors, you're not going to give a fuck. To me, that's how I'm weird with that. If it's people I know, like actors I know, and I kind of like, oh, I don't mind their acting, and I remind me of stuff they did in the past. That could go a long way with me, with a film. That's why I could watch some of those Dean Cain sci-fi channel movies, because I like Dean Cain. So you have Boa, Dragon Fighter, they're not classics, but I could watch them because of Dean Cain. And one day I'd like to rewatch those, actually. Been itching to rewatch those sometime. But yeah, this, if you want, I mean, the flashy edits when the monster's on there were annoying. The kills, I think they could have got a bit more creative. But I mean, there's some funny, goofy moments. The Piñata swinging and hitting someone in the face. Xander swinging and hitting the Piñata in its face. There's a couple of bits gore here and there. It goes at a quick pace. Has a fun, kind of little bit tongue-in-cheek vibe to it. The monster is entertaining if you're into that silly creature way. And I appreciate that a lot of it was done practical, effects-wise. That's more charming to me, good or bad, than a CGI effect. So it was kind of fun to see this thing, this guy in this suit going around with this club and bonking people as if it's fucking Bam Bam from the Flintstones. So yeah, it's one of those kind of, it's not good, but it was fun enough for an easy watch, if that makes sense. And now when I think of Piñata, I always think of, well, this movie or, what was that thing where they made fun of Jim Ross and WCW? It was like Vince Russo's buddy. Oh, Piñata, Piñata, Piñata. I forget Ed Ferrara, I think was his name. Or I think he's one of the guys who helped created Duckman. Anyway. Take that for you will. With that said, thanks for watching. Take care, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye for now.